All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's open forum. Today, we're going to talk about top seller objections and how to overcome them. Last week, you guys remember we did the buyer objections. Today, we're going to cover seller objections. Both of these are available on your YouTube channel. If you missed last week, you're welcome to go back and look at that. So let's talk about this week, top seller objections and how to overcome them. And we will begin. Do you guys have any questions before we start? Awesome. All right, objection number one. I want to wait for the market to improve. What they really mean, I'm afraid I won't get the price I want. I'm not sure I trust the current data. Strategy on that. Educate on current local market data. Obviously, you guys have to be on top of this. This is what you do. This is the main thing that you do as your job, the main value you bring. Reframe waiting as a risk versus opportunity. And this is where you have to know your stuff, which we'll talk about. Use comparables from their neighborhood, obviously. You're going to go in. So a lot of times what you're doing, this is talking about, seller leads that you already have, people that you're talking to, people approach you about, the market, or just people, you're at a barbecue or you're at a dinner party and someone talks to you about real estate, as they tend to do. You have your name tag on and you go to Chick-fil-A and somebody pulls you aside or mentions something about, my wife and I were just talking about the market and what we're doing. We'd like to get out of this house, but we'd like to go to another side of town. We'd like to do something, get a bigger house, smaller house, whatever they want to do. What's going on with the market, right? This may be a friend of yours, maybe a stranger, whatever. Obviously, you're not going to have all this stuff on hand. That's stuff you're going to have for a listing appointment, but you got to know the market. You got to have something. Always have a 20-second elevator speech about who you are, what you do, how you can help them, and how they can reach you. Right? Those are things you got to let people know. And right now you need to have a little elevator speech not right now, always, for sellers and buyers, right? And know what to say to get people interested. So the script, I completely understand wanting to wait for the perfect time. This is the feel, felt, found. Those of you who have background in sales know the feel, felt, found. I recognize how you feel. Many people have felt that way before, but what they have found is this, right? And then you throw in your third-party story, which is how you help somebody who felt the same way, and what they found, what you found for them, how you found a solution together. So I completely understand waiting for the perfect time. Many sellers feel the same way, but what we're seeing in your neighborhood, so what we found, I understand how you feel. Many people have felt the same way. But what we found in your neighborhood is homes selling for top dollar right now due to limited inventory. Waiting, obviously you're going to use whatever the actual case is in their neighborhood. Waiting may mean more competition later and possibly lower offers. Can I show you what homes like yours are selling for today? That's just open the door for a conversation, right? Can I show you what, of course, can I bring value to what you're doing? Sure. Okay. Objection two, I need to think about it. What they really mean is I'm not confident in your value or pitch. I need to talk to someone or compare options. Strategy, ask open-ended questions to uncover concerns. So what they're doing is they're telling you, anybody wants to think about it, it's telling you they've got more concerns that they don't want to talk to you about right now. They either don't trust you or they don't like you. People want to do business with people they trust and like, and they're ready to go if they're ready to go. So ask open-ended questions to uncover concerns. Provide third-party validation, testimonial, stats, etc. That's your third-party stories, and reaffirm urgency and simplified decision-making. Please make sure you're muted, guys. When you come in, please make sure you're muted. You're not always automatically muted. Then I've got to go find you and mute you. All right, reaffirm urgency and simplified decision-making. So it is easier to make a choice than a decision. A decision sounds difficult. There's lots of things that go into a decision. A choice is yes or no. You want to simplify this process for them. Okay. So you're going to eliminate their objections. That's what this whole thing is about. So what you're trying to do here is uncover their objections. Of course, it's a big decision. Just so I can, and we're going to talk more about that later, about the size of the decision it is when you're dealing with a house. For most people, it's their biggest financial decision of their life. Right? Their next house is the biggest financial decision of their life. Each house, the progression of the normal progression of people over time is to get a nicer house and a nicer house and a nicer house. Most of the time you're selling their last house for a certain amount and buying them a more expensive house until that last decision when they downsize, right? So that's a normal progression of a home buyer. It's a bigger decision, bigger decision, most important one they've made, most important one they made, most important one they've made. And then that last one, it might be to a smaller, less expensive house, but it's the most important decision because that's probably their final house, right? And your next house is always your most important one anyway. So it's always a huge deal to people. And you have to keep that in mind. You can't be flippant about this stuff. You have to be serious about what you do. You have to really offer value, and you have to let them know that you really offer value, which we're also going to get into later. Okay, of course, it's a big decision. So just so I can support you better, is there something specific you'd like to think over? Sometimes when people say that, it's because they have a few remaining concerns. What's on your mind? There's not a more honest discussion than this, right? This is where you're asking them, hey, something's on your mind. Let's communicate. And if they're not willing to communicate with you, they're probably not willing to work with you, right? So we're going to have to just keep the door open at that point. Objection 3, your commission is too high. You guys ever get this one? And it's not necessarily your commission. It's not necessarily personal, but commission in general is too high. Sometimes it's yours. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes their cousin will do it for 4%, right? Total, right? So, and yours is 6. Your commission is too high. Or they just think realtors are not, what they really mean. I'm not confident in your value or pitch. I need to talk to someone or compare options. We just did this one. So, all right, objection 4. I have a friend, family member who's an agent. And there we go. What they really mean. I feel obligated, but unsure they're the best choice. I'm trying to be polite and avoid conflict. That is typically why people use their friends and family. Strategy, respect the relationship, but position expertise. Offer a no obligation market evaluation. That's where you're showing your value as compared to their relative. Ask permission to stay in touch in case they reconsider. So you're positioning yourself as the expert, and then you're offering a no obligation market. You're going to provide proof that you're the expert. Totally understandable. Loyalty is important. That said, selling a home is likely the biggest financial decision you'll make this year. Probably ever, right? Selling and buying. Would it be okay if I give you a second opinion just so you're fully informed? No pressure, and it can help your friend too by giving them stronger foundation. You're offering to do a little bit of work here for a shot at their business, right? So, and some of you guys have done this before and you've done it successfully. I can also take care of them by offering them a referral, right? So we've all done that before as well. Christine, do you have a question? Okay. Moving on. Objection 5, I'm not ready to list yet. What they really mean is I'm overwhelmed or unsure where to start. I don't trust the timing. We talked about the timing already. Offer a prep timeline and checklist. Reduce overwhelm by breaking into phases. Ask clarifying questions into their hesitations. Guys, we know how to list properties. They do not. We know the process. They do not understand it. It's really pretty simple, isn't it? I mean, if they have to make repairs, they have to make repairs, which you know by going through the house, etc. But a prep timeline and checklist is very easy. You guys should have this stuff ready to go. Reduce overwhelm by breaking it into phases, which it is. Anytime you have a checklist, it's going to be broken into phases. And ask clarifying. Sometimes you guys know when people are hesitant or people are overwhelmed, they just throw out objections. And sometimes it's not what they really mean. You've really got to talk to people. You've got to have a manner about you that suggests that you're open to talking to people and hearing their hesitations and their objections and talking them through it. A lot of times objections are just thrown out because we don't. You guys do that all the time, right? You don't want to go out. If I invite you out to dinner or something and you don't want to go, you're going to, just blah, blah, blah. Objections, right? So it's the same way with people when you're asking for their business. They're not comfortable with you yet. Whatever it is, you make them comfortable by communicating with them. Okay, ask clarifying questions about their hesitations. This makes total sense. Selling can feel like a lot all at once. What I can do is help you prepare at your pace, even if listing is a few weeks out. Would you be open to meetings so I can share a simple plan to help you feel more in control? That's what if this is a real objection, that's what they want. So when you offer people solutions to their real objection, you find out sometimes that that's not their real objection. But you think, anytime they offer an objection and you give them an out for that objection, and a lot of times you'll see them shift gears. Yeah, but I'm just not sure this is the right time. Right. So that's what they'll get more to a better objection. And this whole thing may be about their idiot brother-in-law just got his license and they don't, they don't know how to break it to him that he's not going to be their agent. Right. Or they're worried they are going to have to work with him and it's going to be a mess. They obviously don't know what they're doing. He's not going to know what he's doing. It's going to be a mess. So sometimes that's the case. And when you eliminate one objection, you're going to get to the next objection until you finally get to the root of it. But this whole thing requires a manner in where you stay in the conversation with them. You can't run them out by being overly salesy or, impatient with them. You have to be able to understand what they're doing. Okay. Objection 6, I can sell it myself. I don't need an agent. When we get done with the next objection, we're going to get into all about this. So what they really mean, I want to save money. I don't understand what an agent really does. And that is really the bottom line here. They don't see value in what you really do. Strategy, show FSBO risk versus agent advantages, which we're going to get into in a second. Provide data on average sales prices, FSBO versus agent. It's pretty depressing for FSBOs. Offer to assist with a backup plan. Okay. A lot of times people like this, they have a lifetime of thinking realtors aren't worth their money, and you're going to have to fight that battle. I totally respect wanting to handle it yourself. A lot of people start there. This is the feel, felt, found, right? I understand how you feel. A lot of people have felt the same way, but most FSBOs, and here's the found, most FSBO sellers end up leaving money on the table. So what they found is that they end up losing money. In fact, sellers who use agents get an average of 13% more on their sale. Would you like to see how that could look in your case? You're getting an opportunity. Would you like me to do a little bit of work for you and show you what I can do? That's what this is, for free. Right? No obligation, no nothing. I'm just offering to give you free stuff. Who wants free stuff? Everybody, right? Okay, we're going to get into the FSBO thing here in a second. Florida-specific tips. Reference local market trends. Migration to Florida. Again, I've always tell you guys, Florida is not like, don't get caught up in these national numbers. Florida is not like that for anything, good and bad, for both the migration to Florida, the demand, but also the insurance issues and the other stuff too. So good and bad. Florida is not like anywhere else. Emphasize timing around snowbird seasons. It's a great selling window, obviously. Advertise property insurance, HOAs, and homestead exemptions. Address them. And that's what we're talking about, the negative. So here we're talking about the positive and then the negative. Those are going to be people's concerns as well. Now we're going to get into FSBO stuff. Do you guys have any questions so far? No? Okay. I'm going to lower Christina's hand because it's driving me crazy. All right. So, FSBOs. Why should sellers use a realtor instead of a FSBO? Higher sale price. This is the number one thing. Why do you think people don't want realtors and they want to do it themselves? Anybody, please. It's the answer is the one you think.
Money, 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 money.
There you go. You can even sing it. I love it. All right. That's the right answer. So they do it for money. They do it to save a few bucks, right? 2 reasons. More money, and they don't think you're worth it. They don't think you do anything. They know some realtor who's an idiot, and they think that you all are, and that we don't have any value, right? Data backed. According to the National Association of Realtors, homes sold with an agent sell for 13 to 20% more on average than FSBOs. Buyers expect discounts when buying FSBO, reducing seller leverage. How many times you guys see that? A lot of you guys, when you first get your license, or I talk to a lot of agents who are just buying their own properties, and they think, oh, well, since I'm an agent, I'll just offer them less money and tell them to waive the commission or whatever, right? That's what everybody thinks, okay? So when they don't have a realtor and you don't have a realtor, they think they're going to get it for 20%, 10% less. They at least take 6% off of what they're going to offer because they know you're not paying a realtor. It does not do what they think it does. And you need to show them hard figures. They sell for 13, 20% more on average than FSBOs, homes sold with an agent. Net profit is often higher even after paying commission, obviously, because you're not paying 13% commission. Marketing power. Realtors provide professional photography, MLS access, social media marketing, email blasts, open houses, and staging advice. FSBO listings have limited exposure, often just Zillow or yard signs. I ask you guys this all the time. When I tell you guys about listing, and I think that you should get a little question like this in your head. If I put my car for sale on my street with a sign in the window that says for sale, or I put it on Auto Trader, which one gives me a chance to get more views, more money? Auto Trader, right? You got to drive by my house and see the little sign in my window. I've driven by cars and I've been like, ooh, that would be a cool car to have because I see a for sale sign in the window. But then I've got to stop my car, turn back around and get the number off the window, etc. I just forget it, right? So you're going to get much more access. And even with Zillow, you're going to get much more. You guys are out there sending, how many of you guys think about the times that your clients call off the things that you sent them versus things they sent you off of Zillow? They typically are going to look at your stuff. They don't want to search. That's what they have you for. They're busy. They're at work. They're this, they're that. And when the market's busy, they're definitely not going to get to it in time. So you get a lot more exposure from MLS than they're getting just from Zillow, right? MLS also populates everywhere else too. So more exposure equals more offers equals higher price. You guys aren't looking on Zillow. You guys are auto searching off of MLS for your clients. You're going to get a lot more exposure from MLS. Regardless of what Zillow says, you're getting more exposure from MLS. More exposure equals more offers equals higher price. That is the basics of what marketing does. Plus, you're getting social media market, email blasts, open houses. They're getting access to your database and your social media campaigns. That's why you need to have social media presence, and it needs to be impressive. Buyer qualification and safety. Realtors pre-screen buyers to avoid time wasters and protect the home from potential security risks. And FSBO sellers may let unqualified or even dangerous people into their homes. Realtors ensure only serious, financially qualified buyers come through. Obviously, FSBO people don't know to do that as much. Most of them don't know to do that at all. To say, let me see your pre-qualification. They don't feel comfortable saying that. Whereas we can just say, hey, look, my broker says I can't show a house without it. Right? Your broker's always the bad guy. Broker says I can't do that. Okay. Realtors are trained to negotiate price, repairs, credits, timelines, and contract terms. This is huge, guys. This is where you need to know your business and know your worth, and we're going to look at that in just a minute. FSBO sellers often accept low offers or get taken advantage of by investor buyers or pushy agents. A realtor defends your bottom line. Guys, how much of our job is after contract? You guys don't spend your money just because you went under contract, do you? How much of our job is after that? How many things can go wrong between contract and closing? And how often does that happen? Happens a lot. How often do we have to save a deal? Happens a lot. How many times does the seller get mad and the buyer get mad, or one or the other, and the agents work together to kind of keep everybody calm and get the deal closed? All the time. That doesn't happen with FSBOs, obviously. Okay. Legal protection and compliance. Realtors know how to navigate contracts, disclosures, timelines, and Florida-specific regulations. FSBO sellers are more prone to legal errors that can lead to lawsuits or failed closings. Realtors reduce liability and make sure the transaction is airtight. We talk about this with buyer stuff. What about FIRPTA, things like that? You have to protect your buyers in that situation. Sellers will not because they don't want to pay that extra tax if they can help it. So we have all these things this is more guiding them through the contract. Time and stress management. Selling a home takes 50 to 100 plus hours, if done right, at least 50 hours from listing to closing. FSBO sellers must juggle marketing, calls, showings, paperwork, negotiations, and inspections themselves, not to mention the photographers. Well, I guess that's part of the marketing, but all the stuff that we do. Please make sure you're muted. Realtors manage the entire process so you can focus on your life. I think, guys, this is all important, but I think all they really care about is that first slide about the money, and that's the most important thing. Realtors can help justify value during appraisal and navigate inspection negotiations. These are all things that we help them through as we go along. FSBO sellers are often unprepared and lose leverage. Absolutely. If you have some of you guys know to help your client, you can get the best sometimes of a newer agent or no agent. And the seller needs to be protected from that. A realtor keeps a deal on track and protects your equity. Script for these, the FSBO, and this is just a start. I get the saving commission sounds great, but FSBO sellers often lose way more in sale price delays or legal mistakes. My job isn't just to list your home, it's to sell it for the most money in the shortest time with the least stress. Would you like to see a breakdown of how much more you could net with me? And that is the bottom line, the net, right? How much more you can net with me. And that's where you need all the information. So that's it. What I would like to show you now is this. So this is from NAR. This is available to all of you. It is just a website link. And 179 ways agents who are realtors are worth every penny of their compensation. Pre-listing activities. All of these things, guys. Have something with this, all of this stuff. Okay, I'm obviously not going to go through these, but have this list available to you. It is part of realtors.com. I will do it here, put it in the chat. You guys should, there's a PDF for it. You guys have it available. Have it in your listing packages, have it in your buyer packages. Have it available. I'm going to put it in the chat. All right, it's in the chat. So have this available. This is 179 things, listing appointment, presentation stuff, for all of this stuff for a listing appointment. Okay, and then they also have, we're still going on the listing stuff. They also have, there's your 174 things, 179 things. And then they have 105 more ways. Educating the buyer, preparing the buyer, showing properties, negotiating offers, advocating for buyer and facilitating. Have all that stuff ready, guys. Have all of these arrows in your quiver, as they say. Be ready to show why you're worth every penny of your commission, as it says right there. There's PDFs for this. I know you guys have seen lists similar to this before. This is just NAR's list that they have on their website. So the link I gave you is to NAR's website and this thing, and it says right at the top, it has download printable PDF. Okay. So do you guys have any questions about this? So what I've shown you is all the objections, how to overcome them, or at least how to get the conversation started in overcoming them. I've shown you what to do with FSBOs, and I've shown you this, how to prove all of the ways that you are worth your money. You guys have any questions on any of that stuff? No questions. Christina.
I have my hand up the whole time. Sorry about that.
You did. I put it for you.
I meant to put it up this time. Hey guys. Hi guys. Hi guys. Sorry, I'm out. My neighbor's kids are out. So I'm hearing from people. They're talking about, well, we're not getting any bites. My listings are very, very slow, and not the activity that we would normally have. I know the rates are kind of a big discussion right now. But I've had some people discuss, okay, well, maybe we should relist next year or wait to list until next year. I'm just curious what everybody's thoughts are on the rates environment, the market for the next 6 to 8 months, and how you're handling that when you hear that from people right now.
I think Ryan said last week that the rates are going down in what, December or January, you said?
Yep, that's what I said.
Make sure to quote him on that.
Yeah, please quote me on that. No, I don't know. What are you guys seeing out there? Anybody else getting the same objection? So you're seeing people wanting to wait because the market's not great.
Yeah, we're saying, okay, like we're not getting the activity. Just, for example, I have a great property in Soto, and I think we may have just missed the market by listing it. And we had a full price offer, and then they got nervous about conditions, pulled out. But it's very saleable, and it's actually priced under the market, move-in ready, pristine property. Very, very shocked that I don't have another contract on it. And, those are the kind of things that are, people are saying, okay, should we sell it later? Or should we, pull it off and rent it? This seller, for the record, is not one of those that's expressing those concerns, but I'm just hearing that in general. And I'm seeing properties that are even like move-in ready, and I'm marketing them. They're just kind of not moving. And I'm hopeful that things may pick up in September. I know some people were saying, I don't know about Ryan, but some people were saying, I was talking to some lenders this week that they thought maybe when the Fed meets in September, there might be some movement on the bond rate and therefore the interest rates. But I'm just curious what everybody else is experiencing and, how you're handling that, what you're saying to people, what you're thinking is going to happen next.
I'm just hearing people are nervous out there still. They're nervous. They don't know what's going to happen with tariffs. It's just nobody knows what's happening right now, and they're nervous to put any money into homes, and that's just the way the economy is right now. People are just nervous. They've been nervous for 6 months now, and I'm one of them. I want it to be good, but with everything on the horizon, I don't know if it's going to be or not. It's a weird market right now. It has been.
Tammy?
I forgot what I was going to say. People's payment for even a 350 house, by the time, like, taxes down in Kissimmee are unbelievable. By the time you do their taxes and their insurance and the house payment, these little couples that really don't have a lot of money, some of them, their payment's outrageous. So when I go to list a house, I kind of tell that seller as well, like, if, when we're selling your house, these people are looking at kind of a hefty payment because of the interest rates these days. So, to me, maybe the market has narrowed some because of the payment and what you could get previously. I don't know if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
It does. And that's what's stopping people right now, is especially people who are in a 3% interest rate to move to another house. And so that's what you're seeing in all this stuff. And the interest rates are going to drive it. But it's because a lot of people, I was going to ask, when we're talking about, Christine was talking about people maybe not wanting to book to list yet and they want to do it next year or whatever. Where are they going to go? It depends. I mean, are they just going to go? Are they moving out of state or whatever? That's different. But if they're, if they have to move somewhere, but if they're just moving across town or they're going to downsize, they're going to wait, a lot of times. So it's just getting your numbers together. But houses are selling.
If they would just lower the rates, we would be great.
That's all we're missing. Gigi says competitively priced homes are selling. They are, but not like they were. Natalie.
I consistently do open houses every weekend. I've had a property that I took back in May on the market, got under contract in 21 days. Of course, we had some inspections, hurdles, it fell through. It's been back on the market since June, and I've just reduced the price from $435 to $410. And 2 other houses have since gone on the market in that neighborhood on that street. And they're coming in a lot lower because they're just now getting on the market and they're undercutting. And the people in the open houses, the buyers are saying they're waiting for the right opportunity. And I had 6 people come in. One was with a realtor and they found a place and they went under contract. And 2 others were working with realtors. And then the others were just looking around, waiting for that window of opportunity to, unfold from them. And I think it's the interest rates.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the best way to like illustrate to people though, because sellers are a lot of times willing to negotiate and offer concessions. And it's like, I have a lender, and I think you're saying your buddy Paul does that too. Like they'll do list and lock, and like a $10,000 buy down to a rate can be equivalent to like, I don't know, roughly like a $50,000 price reduction. So it's like I'm just trying to find the best way to illustrate this to buyers where, okay, when the rates drop, then you're going to have more competition again. If the time is right, just make an offer and propose some terms, because I think sellers are willing to negotiate and they can get the rates down, with a concession in a lot of cases. So I just, people are just, they just want to wait till it goes down for everybody. But yeah, I've seen a lot of uncertainty out there too, like what you guys are saying.
Well, Christine, we talked about this last week in the buyer one. So you're waiting for rates to come down, and you're going to pay more next year. Just like your seller wants to wait till next year, so they think they'll get more for the property, right? Because it's not going to send the market as long, and they're going to get a better offer next year. It is better as a buyer, and it can be mathematically proven, and maybe I'll do it for you guys next week. It can be mathematically proven that it's better for a buyer to pay less for a house at a higher interest rate than pay more for a house at a lower interest rate. They always will owe that money back that they borrowed. So if they borrow more money, they're always going to owe that back. So it is better to buy now and refinance later than pay more next year. It's always better to do that. So, and I will show you next week how to mathematically prove that to them. Palak.
Hi. So I have a related question because I don't work much on listing side of things. So in a market like this where like people are listing and then they just take their property off market in a couple of months, as agents, do you have anything on the listing agreement? Do you ask them to reimburse you for the marketing expenses, or it's just your loss?
It's on the listing agreement. It's written in ink. You don't even have to ask for it for that. It's right in the cancellation part.
Yes,
but no, if it expires, then no.
I'm sorry.
If your listing expires, then you don't get reimbursed. But if they cancel, you do.
Okay, yeah. I mean, do people really pursue them, or maybe okay, let go? Maybe they might give you another chance to list next year. I don't know. I mean, is it worth it? I'm not sure. How many people do that? A lot of people?
If people cancel your listing, then yes, you go after that money. Do a lot of people? Okay. Yeah. I mean, if they want to list with you next year, they can sign a contract right now to list next year.
Okay.
If they want to do that to not have to reimburse you the money, they can do that. But eventually, if they don't list with you for 6 months, that's why you don't want to do a 3-month listing right now in this market. Average
at least 6 months
days on market or 80 days. Mm-hmm. Pardon me?
Okay, 6 months. 6 months typically, correct?
Yeah,
in this market.
Yeah.
Okay. And then for actual physical staging, I've heard some listing agents kind of share the cost. Some would ask the sellers to take care of, because it's a lot more expensive. Mm-hmm. I'm just curious, how are people doing it over here?
What I've seen is that the seller does it.
The seller will do it? Okay.
Agents are coming, $5,000 out of pocket to stage something.
Okay. Got you. Thank you.
But you need to, if staging is something you want done on a listing, you think it would really help, then you need to show what staging does, and there are statistics for that as well. So have that in your quiver of arrows as well.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
It doesn't make you anything, but it helps them sell it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anne.
Yes, I normally don't charge anything if people cancel on me, because I believe if they want to work with me, I'm happy to help them. If they don't, it's fine with me. But what's come around will around. So that's why people normally call me back whenever they're ready. Mm-hmm. So that's me. And I have another question regard to my property. At this market, I want to sell my property. And even I sell a loss or break even, I still cannot sell. So I'm thinking about subject to assumable mortgage or seller finance. Even I have a first mortgage right now with the lender. Can I be able to do that? Anybody have a knowledge about this?
Oh, I am the best person. I have been all over this subject. I have sellers who are going to finance. I myself am going to finance if that brings me a better deal. I've already talked to the title company about constructing the note. Yes, it's a great way to do it.
Can I have your contact so you can give me some feedback about that? I'm new to this.
Certainly, I'll put it in the messages for you.
Thank you. And I have few seller contact me last couple week and asked me to sell property in Devonport, and I look up comment around that a lot of like 1 mile radius is over 150 active listing. So I told them the truth, and I price kind of a little bit low compared to other because the comments is all over the place. And most of them doesn't want to go with me because they want top dollars on their sale. So I be honest with them because I don't want to look bad. After a few months, I cannot sell for them. Like I have one listing right now, they expire and I look bad because I cannot sell. So I don't know what you think about. I should tell them the truth like that, or just list whatever they want me to list.
It depends on your situation, and I think you should tell them the truth. But I think there's different ways to do that. If you really want the business to work with them, there are different ways to present a thing that gets them to drop the prices in a reasonable amount of time and say, look, if I will do this for you, but we're going to drop the price here, we're going to drop the price there. Have a plan for them. Be professional and have a plan. But yes, I mean, the truth is better than throwing something out there to sit on the market for 180 days and you've wasted all of their time and your time and they're mad and everything else. So, or they think that you're a bad agent when in reality, they wouldn't listen to you on the pricing. So if you can afford to not work with them, then absolutely give them the price. And I know you can. So because you do a good job, you do a lot of business. So you can absolutely be honest with them and tell them, look, this is not, I'm a good agent because I don't overprice properties.
Okay. Thank you.
Karen. You're muted. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I have a similar situation with the listing. It's an estate sale, and siblings aren't agreeing, and one wants to grossly overprice the property, and they've agreed amongst themselves on 30 days to reduce the price. Is it worth? I mean, years ago, this was an old Century 21 thing. They used to do a schedule. If it didn't sell in 30 days, it would automatically reduce to this price, and they'd go over several months what the pre-agreed to reductions were. What do you think of something like that? Because I'm really uncomfortable putting this listing on because it's just grossly overpriced what they want to do.
Yeah, that's not a Century 21 thing. That's a real estate thing. That's been done forever. And that's what I was just talking to Ann about. I was saying if it doesn't, we don't get any showings in the first couple of weeks, because showings are the indicator of pricing, right?
Right.
So if we're not getting showings, it's because we have it overpriced. If we're not getting offers and we are getting showings and not getting offers, then it's not showing well. So yeah, so absolutely. And I wouldn't wait a month. We're priced it at X amount for 14 days. And then if we don't have any showings or we have less than 3 showings, whatever you want to do.
Okay. Would you do a schedule for that and writing?
Yeah, absolutely. I put it in the additional terms.
Okay.
I see some of you guys do that now. I've seen
Okay.
you do it. So absolutely put it in the additional terms. And if they're not going to object to it. They agree to it in the additional terms of the original.
Well, it's I got 2 that agree with each other and 2 that don't. So I'm yeah.
So
okay, thank you.
These probate properties and a beneficiary selling the parents' home, etc., usually are pretty easy because it's found money to them. They don't want to put a lot of money into it. They don't want to put a lot of money into it because 2 of them can afford it, 2 of them can't, or whatever the situation. A lot of times they don't. The brother in California doesn't talk to the sister in Minnesota, and they hate each other. They don't want to work together on it. Just sell it and send me my check, and it's found money.
Well, that's where we were 2 months ago, and then now all of a sudden that it's finally ready to go on the market, we've got one that's stirring the pot. So,
well, there you go. Yeah. So
okay.
It's always a pot stirrer too. So not always. Sometimes it goes really, really well because they just send me my $84,000 and let me get out of here. So a lot of times it's that kind of thing. So it's always different. And yeah, get them on a schedule, and then they can't argue about it.
Okay, thanks.
You bet. Good luck. Those are usually pretty good ones to get, though. They don't argue as much over pricing and stuff like that because it's, if somebody asks for a $10,000 price reduction after inspection or whatever, and they're, it's not 10,000, it's only 2,500 each. It's not as big of a deal to nitpick over stuff. Any other questions or comments? What else are you guys seeing? Yes, Tammy.
Well, I know everyone's dying to know whether the softener was taken or if it stayed. Remember the water softener?
Yes.
It stayed. They left it. And just to show how crappy of an agent I am now, I have the washer dryer in reverse. I had to pay a moving company
Take it
to
out.
come take the washer dryer away. Oh my gosh. And it was a really nice washer dryer. I wish I knew somebody that needed it, but I just needed to get rid of it. You would have needed it? Oh my gosh. It left this morning, but yeah.
Put that on the FRI agents page. Put stuff like that on there and see if anybody wants it. You probably could.
Well, I was kind of in a hurry and I needed to get, it was a whole situation. So I could have had it moved to my house and put it in my garage. And then I was like, I don't even know if I want to mess with it, but it was probably only a 7-year-old washer dryer, a builder's.
Also, our company would have picked it up.
You would have?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so good to know.
Yeah, because we do a bunch of appliances for tenants and
oh my gosh, I wish I had known that.
That's all right. Daryl.
I need a newer gas dryer next time somebody wants to give one away for my new rental house. But anyway, I've had 2 issues the last, 45 days. I've lost 2 listings, totaling like 900,000. They were good listings. I had one that was like 500,000. I met with the mother. She had just lost her husband, and the 3 older daughters. All 4 of them interviewed me. Okay. So I go in, I spend a good 30, 45 minutes with them, and we got along great and everything. And I followed up with them the next, 2 or 3 days later and sent them a net sheet and everything. And they appreciated that and everything. And then a couple of weeks later, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, they listed it with someone else. One of my competitors, a female in a competitor's office. It was 4 females that I interviewed with, right? So I called actually the one daughter and asked her, I said, why didn't you guys choose me? We got along really good, and I sell homes in the neighborhood. And she quoted and she said, well, we think that the other agent could hold our hands better than you could have. She goes, actually, I was on your side. I wanted to choose you, but that's why the other daughters and the mom chose her. So I don't know, how do you get over that kind of issue between gender?
Daryl, I don't know. And you are the kind of person that I wouldn't think that would happen. I'm the kind of person that I think that would happen to. I wouldn't think that you're the kind of person, because your tone and you're very patient, etc. I wouldn't think that you would have that.
It floored me. That's just, I like to share things that happen to me, and whether they're good or bad, to the room. That was one of them. The other one, actually, I just lost yesterday. He came to one of my open houses, said he had a house in Parkview, which is 3 blocks away from my house. I went over to his house, told him what he needed to do to get it ready to sell. He said, okay. And just yesterday, I went on the MLS and it was listed with another agent. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? I lost another one.
He may have been talking to that other agent before you went to see it. He may have talked to her and then wanted your input.
It was a him, actually, this time.
Used you.
That's exactly what I'm getting at. I think he used me for the price and to find out exactly what he needed to do to the house to sell. The agent that he listed with has not sold any homes in this neighborhood.
Gosh.
Their company's not sold any homes in this neighborhood. So it's totally flooring me. I'm like, I want to ask him why he didn't choose me, but right now I'm kind of mad. Actually,
well, just wait, because she might not sell it and you could get in there anyway.
Right.
So I know.
So Daryl, I think that, so in any business, you're going to get shopped sometimes, what we call getting shopped, which is have you come in, like people get estimates, and you know this before, you've known who you're going to use before, but you had somebody else give you an estimate too, just to prove that your pricing was good, right?
Yeah. Sure.
So that happens, right? And it's going to happen to you too. It's going to happen.
I
They're gonna-
just wanted to add something I noticed in my area. I'm sorry for jumping in. I lost 2 listings in the past 2 months. One was supposed to be from a close friend. They're moving out of this area. They just in both cases, they just ended up just listing. I found out later when I saw the listings. I just typed their address and I checked the agent's info. Apparently, there's a lot of flat fee discount type people, a lot of them these days. So in both cases, they just ended up going with someone like that. It's just like I can't even think about beating what they're giving, and the pictures are awful. One of the properties seems to be under contract. The pictures are really awful, and I just can't figure out why, because there's a lot better looking up properties in that neighborhood. It's the other one's just sitting. So I don't know. I mean, I think like people just don't see the value.
It's
And
FISBO.
now,
That's
now
FISBO.
that you said that, actually, the seller asked me to reduce my commission, and I had to actually go back and think about it for a day before I came back to him and said, "Yeah, but don't tell anybody. I will reduce my commission for you."
Right.
And I never do that, but
these
I need
people
listings
are
right
like,
now.
yeah, these people are like 1% or even less. And then in the listing notes, you would see like, okay, just schedule an appointment through showing time, or not even that. They're like, okay, this is seller's phone number. Just, reach out to them directly. Any questions, any showing requests, everything is on the seller, and they're just listing. And they're not even charging like 1%. It's like a really, really small fee. And both these people choose to go with them. And I just noticed like there's like an uptick of those kind of services. That's just me, I guess, but I've noticed that.
That's a limited service agreement where they charge you $500 or $1,000 to put it on the MLS and see you later. So that's it. And so it's a FISBO pretty much. It's a FISBO. Remember I talked earlier about it's better to put it on MLS than on Zillow. That's all they're doing, is they're having somebody put it on there, contact Daryl, the seller, at his phone number, and he'll handle the showings. He'll handle the contract and go submit all offers directly to Daryl, etc. Because I'm not doing anything. I've got limited service. I'm just marketing your property, and boom, you're taking your own pictures. You're doing, it's a FISBO is what you're competing with. So you've got to get that objection out of them. Sounds like that might have been what you're kind of dealing with, Daryl. Or you never know if it's just his brother-in-law, or it's his best friend or something like that, who just got their license and never sold a house in that neighborhood. The broker's never been there. The guy might be in a different area altogether. And as far as that, I think the one that really hurt you is that first one. Kind of hurt your feelings too. This guy's about money, and doesn't see the value in realtors. And it's not try your best, but don't get your feelings hurt that the guy's however many years the guy has, 50 years or 60 years or whatever on earth of not believing realtors are worth their money, is not Daryl's job to overcome in a 30-minute meeting. So I mean, it is your job, but it's not really likely going to happen, right? It's difficult. So don't do that. But the hand holding thing, I think that maybe you didn't get that objection out of them somehow, Daryl, because I think you would be very good at hand holding through a deal. And I think maybe you just didn't understand that or realize that or whatever, or maybe this other agent is also somebody's friend or something, and you never know. Malvis.
I just wanted to share something really quick that happened to me recently in the past 3 months or so. I did lost 2 listings as well. But it wasn't because they were not agreeing with my commission. I was actually charging a full 6%, and they didn't. I didn't get any objections or anything about that. It was what happens is for the amount of money that they put as down payment when they bought the house. And when I ran my comps and when I did my Excel sheet as to what they would be netting, they were both negative because the homes did not have enough equity for them to pay the realtor commissions, recuperate their down payment when they first bought it 2 years ago, and make any profit out of it. So I don't know if any of you have run into that situation, but that happened to me twice in the past 3 months. And, I've never seen it before, but, it seems like in the past 2-3 years, for the prices that the people have bought, their homes have not gained that much equity.
No, not in my case. Both of these people they have a good like 50 to 70K. They would be netting. I mean, they would easily either break even or like pocket some of it. It's just that I feel like there's a lot of like these discounts. I don't know. It's just me, I guess.
Anybody else have anything for her? Okay.
I do, Brian. I do.
No. I see hands up. I meant for Malvis. I see everybody's hands up. Yeah, I've got lots of hands up. But yes, you're next, Kim. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to share with Daryl. I've had the same thing happen to me this year. I think it's what's happened, like families I've worked with for years. Sold their property to them, done all their family business, and now they go to church and there's a new agent and they've chose to work with them. So it is hurtful. It's like a little discouraging, but I just think every day, I'm like, you know what? It happened for a reason. I just need to let it go. I don't question them. I just let it go and think worst case scenario, they may come back to me and say, hey, we should have listed with you. I'm sorry, type thing, possibly. Because it's families I've known for years because I grew up here. So I've literally known them since middle school. And they've reached out to me about other real estate questions this year, and I've helped them. And then they list their house with someone else, and they've never even mentioned listing it when we've talked about like her dad's house or something else, not her personal house. So you're not the only one in that boat.
Yes. And I'll tell you guys that Kim is an excellent agent, and that happens, Kim. And and I know you do good follow up, and obviously they're still asking you real estate questions. So it even happens when you're their quote unquote realtor, you're their source. But people find a way through church or through any kind of clubs or something like that to do that. But I know you do a great job. And this person from their church, I mean, I don't know, maybe the best realtor in the world, but probably not. And they'll be back.
And I agree. And I know it is a new agent because whenever somebody does list with someone else like that, of course, the first thing I do is go see how many homes they've sold. I'm like, oh, okay. So, when they have like hardly any homes that they've sold, obviously, I'm like, okay, they're a new agent.
And this could be their best friend's daughter or son. This could be whomever, right? So you never know. And it may even be related to them. It could even be an in-law. You never know. Different last names, different whatever. You don't know. It could even be a relative. So, they'll probably come back to you. That agent, if 93% of agents are out of the business in the first 18 months, they may come back to you. That agent may go out of business. That agent, whatever. So who knows?
But no, I just heard how disappointed Daryl was, and I've been there, and I just look at it as it's a blessing, and in disguise, we just don't see it yet.
Yeah. And I normally would tell you guys, if it weren't you, Kim, I normally for the rest of you guys, make sure you stay followed up with the people. I know Kim does. But make sure you guys stay following up with your clients and make sure they are calling you when they have real estate questions, because that makes you feel good. And I know Kim doesn't mind when they call her with a bunch of real estate questions because she thinks they're her client. Then they do something like this and it's like a little disappointing, right? So I'm sorry about that, Kim. And it happens. It does happen. And everybody's out there. 1 out of every 75 Floridians has a real estate license, guys. So it's going to happen to you. It's going to be that everybody's got a relative who's a realtor. So
Yes.
it happened.
And when we get off of this subject, I do have another question regarding the contract.
Okay, why don't you
And I
shoot it
can
now?
talk to you.
Shoot it now.
Okay, let me move you over. So I have a seller, and she is actually, it's one of them ones, her parents have passed away, but she is very difficult. And see, I know you mentioned how it's free money. The things I experience when people inherit a home, they're trying to get the absolute most money, and they are the most difficult from what I have seen. But regardless, she wants to see the appraisal, and the home appraised at value. And I asked the other agent if she could share it, because I have the seller, obviously. She said, like I said, it came in at value, was what the other agent told me. I said, okay. So I let my seller know that. She refers to the contract, and she goes to page 2 of that at the far bar, as is 7 contract, on section 8:106. Buyer shall, upon request, keep seller and broker fully informed about the status of buyer's mortgage, loan application, loan processing, appraisal, and loan approval. So my seller is thinking she has the right to see that appraisal if she puts it in writing.
Status.
I've never.
Status,
ever-
not results. Status.
Okay,
Status.
I've never.
They ordered the appraisal. Their appraisal's in.
Yes.
That's all they're entitled to. They paid for the appraisal. You're not entitled to the inspection or the appraisal. Just if it's been ordered, if it's back, if they're done. In fact, inspection, it doesn't really matter at all. But
And I told her that. I said, listen, I've been doing this. I mean, I'm going on 21, 22 years. I said, I've never encountered this from a seller. I said, if we have a problem, then we can get access to it. I said, there's no problem. They're not going to share it with us. She's like, well, I read in the contract. So I told her, I said, oh, let me reach out to my broker, because this is something I've never been asked of before in all these years. And I'm thankful, but she's just a real stickler, and she is very, very difficult, to be honest with you.
let's go through this. Excellent, Kim. Let's go through this. I was talking about when you got a bunch of them, like 3 people who are inheriting these things. Usually they go pretty well, but not one person. So let's go through these things. Appraisal. If they want to negotiate something on the appraisal, you can say, let me see the appraisal, right? If they come back to you and use the appraisal as a reason to negotiate the price, you can say that. Mm-hmm. If they want to back out of the contract, you can ask them what the value was, because obviously you can see it then if they back out. Otherwise, if they back out because of the appraisal, if they back out for another reason or whatever, then you're not going to get it. But if they use the appraisal for something, either negotiating or back out, you can ask to see it. Otherwise, none of your business. They paid for it. It's theirs. It's them, between them and the lender. So that is how an appraisal, the ability or right to see an appraisal works. You never have the right to see an inspection unless, obviously, you have the right to ask for it if they want to negotiate something off the inspection. If they say, oh, there's a problem with the electrical, well, let me see the inspection before I give you any money. And they can still say no, and then you just don't give them any money. But they're going to say yes, of course, if it's legitimate. But the appraisal, only if it's a problem can you ask for it. Or you can ask for it. Only if it's a problem are you entitled to see it. You're absolutely entitled to see it if they back out of the contract because of it, or if they try to negotiate the price because of it. In fact, you'd be a fool not to ask for it.
And absolutely. And that is what I explained to her. But
it says, show her where it says status. It does not say results. It says status.
Okay.
Nope. And I don't know why the buyer's agent would be like that anyway. Just say appraised for whatever, 10 grand more than.
And
whatever.
She knows I'm dealing with a difficult person,
right?
Because I was there at the home inspection, and so anyway.
And usually they appraise right at value, because if it's even close, they have the contract right there. They'll put it right at the value. They're not going to go. Right. Appraisers will get in trouble if they appraise stuff too high. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's why they tend to go low if they can, and they rarely go over contract price. You guys know this as buyer's agents. They rarely go over contract price more than a couple $1,000s.
So that's the keyword, status. Okay, I will let her know that. Thank you.
That is the status. But you know what, Kim? She's welcome to hire an attorney if she wants. If an attorney wants to interpret it differently, then she can hire an attorney and they can go after it. But I bet she's not going to. But say, hey, look, I'm not an attorney. If you would like an attorney to do this thing was written by the Florida Association of Realtors and the Florida Bar, where licensees can just fill in the blanks. But if you want to hire an attorney to tell you whether or not status means results, then you can hire an attorney.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you.
You're
Hopefully
very
it
welcome.
closes in a couple weeks. And
Maybe even call the board and get their attorney to tell you that, and have that, have them email you that if they will. They don't ever want to put their name on anything, but it's a FAR bar question, and it's very, very simple.
yeah, I'm going to speak to her about our conversation, and if she continues to push me, maybe I'll just call the legal hotline and ask them, and then I can give her that information, or she can, whatever.
And you know what? Maybe even email the lender and ask them for it,
Mm-hmm.
and have the lender tell you.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you.
Or the lender may be may send it to you because they're not paying attention. Tammy.
I got this lead, realtor.com, just randomly, but sometimes you get those Bitcoin people. But anyway, I got this woman that she's actually, I believe, a real person. I'm just trying to figure out, and she told me she was not going to use Bitcoin because she didn't want to use Bitcoin to buy another property with one asset to buy another asset. So I think she's going to be cash, and I think she's real. But why do these Bitcoin people? Is there any kind of pyramid scheme? Because
No,
there's
no, you're going to send them money to get Bitcoin. They're going to brag about how much money they've made with Bitcoin, and which they didn't. Because they don't.
I was wondering, because they're so nice, they keep you engaged. I'm like, quit talking to me. I'm like, oh, how's your day? Oh, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's got to be something to this.
So it's not a direct scam where they do this. What they do is they get you all, eventually they get you all excited about how they made all this money. They mention it.
Yes, she seemed like a Bitcoin following the system, but yet she's going to be cash. And she said she's coming to town, which I've never gotten that far with anybody else. So she seems somewhat legit, but yet she's in Bitcoin too. And then,
there's legitimate people are in Bitcoin, but they don't say things like, you don't want to leave one asset to get into another asset, because there's a reason for getting out of Bitcoin into real estate, and the reason for getting out of real estate into Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is at an all-time high or near it now. It's down to 113 or something. I have Bitcoin, but I'm not trying to sell you on Bitcoin or get you to.
But is that how it works with everybody? Like, if you got me to buy Bitcoin, or is it a scam?
No, it's not at all. No, the scam is I'm going to give you a link so you can buy it, because you're going to ask how to buy it, and I'm going to give you a link, and it actually just goes straight to me.
Oh, because she was telling me that you used. Are you familiar with these apps like Venmo?
Okay. You're done. She's not real.
I mean, I would never send money, but I was thinking in my head that, that's how you buy Bitcoin. And I would not do it with her for sure. Nobody like that. But that's why I was thinking, I guess you use your Venmo to buy your Bitcoin when you go to buy it. So maybe she's not legit.
You can buy it on Coinbase or whatever. If you ever want to buy it, I'll tell you how to buy it. But
my son is in it too. So
I won't give you a link or anything else. You go do it yourself.
Okay.
You don't have to, you download an app and you can buy it straight on there. You do not send it to anybody or follow anybody.
So she would scam me and get my money for her personal gain. Is that what you're saying?
She would give you a link to her bank account, and you would send your money.
Gosh, that's crazy.
Or to her Coinbase account, or her something account, or her Bitcoin account.
She sends me a picture in California. I almost wonder if it was AI, but I see another picture of her. Her lips are all done, and she's having breakfast with her partner, and the setting is unbelievable.
It's fancy. Yes. So what she's selling you is that you can do that too if you just buy Bitcoin.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm hoping she comes to town and buys the $1.8 to $2 million property.
Is that what she said? 1.8 to 2 million. Okay, so now you're trying to. That's what they do. Typically, it's always high dollars.
No, I know that is the whole scam for the whole thing, because I've had them before. She just seems a little bit more real than others.
So they're getting better.
But I don't.
All these
it's called the pig slaughtering scam. It's exactly like what you're saying.
At being a thief, that's all.
It's a long con. It's exactly like what Ryan's saying. It's a long.
They've been talking about Tammy, because Tammy's been hard to get, so they're going to get you. They're sending their good stuff after you now, Tammy.
What'd you say?
Tammy's nicer than some of us. That's all I can say.
They're getting a nice. She's turned down so many of them that they got a new plan.
I was telling my friend about it. She goes, Tammy, her husband died 5 months ago. She's got 2 kids. But she was going to come at the end of the month. But it is a little strange because she's not totally into the houses I'm sending her, but yet, so I did figure
Tell her you're ready to buy Bitcoin and send you the link.
Pardon?
Tell her you're ready to buy some Bitcoin and send you the link.
Oh, okay.
And
then just never do it.
Well, of course, never do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I know, but then just like cut it off with her, then just.
Yeah, of course.
I was gonna wait till the 29th of this month when she's supposed to come to town, and I'll play it through then.
Do that too. Yeah. I'd love to hear. This is another thing you can keep us updated on.
Okay.
I'd love to hear that. Yeah, keep her going.
Okay.
Juan.
Yeah, and don't even click on any link. I've had clients that as soon as they click on the link, I don't know how they do it, but within minutes they have access to their bank account. It's crazy. Going back to Daryl's situation, isn't more accustomed now that people are still thinking that their houses are worth more? For example, they want a little bit more than what the market is, and maybe do like a tier of like, okay, I'm going to charge you 3%, and if it goes below this, it's going to go 2.75 or 2.5. Is that becoming a trend now? So you can give the seller an option that they can pay less if the house sells for less?
Actually, both of these sellers listed for less than what I told them the market was, which totally surprised me. I was over a little bit over 500. I was up like, I could get a little bit over 500 for the one, and they listed at what, like 495, I think. So they were under. And then the guy I just talked about, last week, I told him he could get right around 430, I thought. And he's listed it at what, 415 or 420, another good price. So it was just crazy.
It's just the commission then, probably, or whatever. So one, people wanting a little bit more than market is not new. That's pretty typical.
Yeah.
That's always the case. As far as the commission scale, that's always been a thing to some degree. But now with this new buyer thing, with the new rules of settlement, a lot of sellers just want to negotiate the other side. So you're really talking about your 3% or whatever, and then they want to negotiate the other side with a lower offer. So you can go in at your 2.5 or 3% or whatever, and yours doesn't really change, but they can negotiate with a lower offer. They can offer less to the other side, theoretically, or they can negotiate it when the offer comes in. That's, if you want to give them that option because they're worried about that, that's an objection for them. Say, we can negotiate the other side when the offer comes in.
Yeah, and I guess everything is negotiable. So that at that point is but I was just curious because Daryl said that he was willing to lower his commission, and maybe by tiers he would be safe if he sells it at 500, but maybe if he sells it at 480, then he'll get whatever he was going to discount it. It's just a thought. And the other thing, now there is a negotiation because it's not only the interest, it's the insurance is 3 times as much as it was 3 years ago. It's the taxes because the houses, it's a whole bunch of things. Are you seeing more of a trend of seller finance, like 10% or 15% going on at this time, or you haven't seen that?
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen much of that. I know some people are doing it, here and there,
Like
but
Vivian,
I wouldn't say a significant increase in it. No.
Okay. And last question, Ryan. It has to do with the contract, but hopefully it's a quick one. When the buyer, when we're choosing the contract that the buyer pays title cost, okay, title section. I noticed that some title companies, they charge settlement fees and junk fees, to call it something, because it's ridiculous how much they charge for an affidavit or whatever it is. If they start charging the buyer and then the seller for another section, is that a reason enough to debate that and say, wait a second, if the buyer's paying for title, it means everything related with title.
No, you can negotiate to pay all closing costs, but that doesn't come with the title thing. Title, that's just title insurance, is all that is.
But in the contract, it says, and all other fees charged by closing agent. Doesn't that also include settlement fees?
No, you never seen that because nobody does it on the seller side. I'll have to look at the contract, but nobody does it on the seller side.
Okay, yeah, I need to reread it
But
because
you
it
can
says,
always negotiate that in the contract. Say the seller pays all, buyer pays all closing costs.
no, there's nothing negotiated. It's marked buyer's expense. That's it. And
Right.
then the paragraph says the party who pays for the owner's title insurance policy would select the closing agent, and then including tax and lien search, municipal search, and all other fees charged by closing agent.
Okay, well, that would be everything. That would be everything.
So that would be, and the reason I ask you is because sometimes when they use an attorney, these guys charge, $800 a pop type of thing. So
Right.
it's very expensive.
And a lot of times that buyer, a lot of times it is an attorney or it's an attorney's relative or something like that, and they want their friend to close it, or their best friend or themselves or their brother or sister or whatever to close it for them, and so they.
So you would interpret it the same as I do, like everything related with title fees. If it says charge by, okay. Just wanted to see if anybody had dealt with that.
Okay, that's what it says.
Thanks.
Pollock.
Yeah, so I just want to share something that's recently happened with one of my buyers under contract, and I've never had in the 4 or 5 years I've been working in this field. I don't know how to rephrase it, but AI is messing up my transaction. I mean, by that, I think over time, as we have new buyers, this might be a situation that some of us might run into. So what the buyer's doing is, even though I'm telling her not to, she has some kind of a subscription service for AI. I don't know, not ChatGPT or something. I don't know what it is. She's an engineer by profession, but she's actually running the inspection report. She ran it through AI. It flagged a whole bunch of things, and me, the builder sales consultant, the construction manager from the builder side, everybody, she's texting us nonstop. We tried to get her get done with it, but she's super convinced that the stuff that the AI is giving her is real. Once we somehow got over that, and that was 2 weeks back. Now she's on to something else. Apparently, she found on the community's Facebook page that FEMA is going to do a revision on the flood zones. So what she does is she found a PDF of the revised zones. She fed it through the AI again, in spite of me not telling her not to. We're repeatedly telling her to trust the professionals, but she's doing this. And then she's trusting the AI team because apparently AI knows more than all of us combined. And now she's at a point where she's give me another site, which the builder's okay with. They're working on it. It's a sticky situation. It's the very first time I can't believe I'm saying this. AI is messing up my transaction. It's weird. It's funny. It's weird. And it's how do we convince her that's it's we're telling her that there's no evidence behind what the AI software is telling you, but she feels all of that is a lot more reliable than what she's getting from 3 other people who've been working for such a long time.
Okay, so first thing I'll tell you is be very careful, because if something ever happens with that and you're telling her don't listen to that, then you're going to look not good. And the 3 other people in her mind, perception is reality, and the 3 other people all have ulterior motives because you all want her to buy the house in her mind.
No, it's not that, Ryan.
I know
she's
it's not that, Pollock. I
Yeah,
know it's not that, but that's how it seems. Okay, and that's
No,
perception.
I'm just trying. Well, I'm not telling her that's not real. I'm trying to reason with her that whatever stuff AI is showing you could be off of the internet. There's people working on ground. There's county bylaws, things that people have to follow. And the inspection report that the inspector gave us, it didn't flag any major concerns, but because AI told her that they were major concerns, she just was after everybody texting nonstop. And now it's the same thing with the FEMA revision. The new map shows there's no change in the flood zones. The current map, there's no change, but for some reason, AI told her something, and now she's like, the AI is telling me the truth, you are not. And I'm like, every time I redirect her to the builder sales consultant, and just like me, she's at her wits' end we're all trying to work out with like the kind of AI situation that she keeps getting us into. It's like it's all new.
I completely understand. I completely understand. This is a regular thing, it's a regular sale. It should be a regular sale, but it's not because of the AI. She believes in the AI more than she believes in you guys. I understand that. There's nothing you can do about that. She's obviously been hurt before somehow in some kind of deal or something.
She's a first-time buyer. She never bought anything at all.
But she does other things in life. She does other things in life. So she trusts AI more than she trusts people. That's something you're going to have to deal with. And hopefully this deal closes. If not, Jika said in the thing, do you want to buy a house?
Yeah, I told her, I mean, if she's not comfortable, that's what I told her 3 times, but she's still after us to somehow double check on what the AI told her. I'm like, who's going to back up what she's reading up on the internet? It's just whatever reports. I told her, we just have to work with, what we get from the professionals and leave it there. So if you have questions, we can have those answered. But if you have a concern, like you need to figure out a way to move forward. But she tends to get stuck for days and ask like the same questions in a loop. And then she's like, somehow guys find a way to justify the AI thing. And I had to give her, I mean, I rarely do this, but she is one of the most difficult ones I've dealt with, like in the past few years. And I told her like, okay, if this is making you uncomfortable, you should really rethink and just back out of the deal or go find a new lot. The builder's okay giving you a different home, but she's not willing to move on. She's stuck.
Yeah. Okay. So 26% of people have mental illness. You're going to run into them everywhere in this business. She obviously has a thing about this. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. You're going to run into crazy. We talked about this last week. You're going to, when you have, you've got yourself, you've got typically 1 or 2 buyers, you've got another agent, you've got typically 1 or 2 sellers, you've got a lender, you've got an appraiser, you've got everything. The chances of 1 out of those 9 people involved in a transaction being crazy is pretty high, at least 1. So you've just got to hope that you don't have 2 in the same deal.
That's reassuring.
And this is a real thing that we deal with. This is a real thing that we deal with. So 25.9% of people have a mental illness. Most of them.
Beyond the mental illness thing, how do you justify something that the AI is telling you? Like, I'm trying to reason with her. How do I back it up? Like, you have the same PDF that I have.
Okay, AI is just a collection of things that you can Google right now.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
exactly.
It's just a collection of things that you can Google. It's right now AI is putting together everything that it picks up on the internet and putting it into one thing. There's crazy stuff all over the internet. There are people with horror stories on the internet about how they
same thing.
Flood, right? So it's going to pick all that stuff up and say, oh, you better not buy it because it reads one story about someone who bought in a flood zone. It's going to say you better not buy in a flood zone. And there's a
it's
story
not
about,
even in a flood zone. It's not
it doesn't
be in a flood zone, but it doesn't matter to her. It's just whatever AI told me. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm saying like AI is messing up my transaction. It's like one of the first in my career. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, hopefully it's the last.
I hope so.
But just let her go. And if they run her off, then she'll learn a lesson, and you'll all learn a lesson. But there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
You're not going to convince her.
I told her the same thing. I mean, just you could back out or you could pick something else. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. Thank you so much.
Offer alternatives, I guess. And I know it's a pain, but sales are going to make, I'm sure, a 5 figures commission when you do it. So it's worth the work.
We are giving her all of that. We're trying to figure out the alternatives. She likes something that's higher up on her price point. The loan officer's working. So it's like after being a month under contract, we're looking at redoing a completely different transaction with her. We're still working on it, but it's just like she is one of those. She's difficult.
Well, at some point they're going to get tired of her, and if she's already made her deposit or whatever, she's going to lose it. So
Yeah, I
Did
told
you
her
ask?
that as well.
Did you
I
ask
told her that
AI
as
how
well.
to deal with her? Ask AI how you deal with somebody
Oh
relying
my
on AI.
goodness. Yeah, she's like, there's that one class that's mentioned in the inspection report that's like marked as a small concern. And then the AI told her something and she's stuck on that class. And oh my goodness, she takes things to the next level based on something the AI is giving her. And I don't know if she thinks it's a real person, but all of us, like, there's like 3 people who are trying to get her to either move forward, back out, change her mind, do something, but it's just that she's driving everybody crazy with her text messages. It's just not me. It's the builder sales consultants done with her. She's texting the construction manager. It's crazy.
all right. I promised I wouldn't get too far into
If
this.
this profession were easy, a lot more people would be doing it successfully.
Here you go. That's true.
I say that all the time. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
There you go. Dealing with someone who relies too much on AI can be frustrating. Identify the problem, have a direct but constructive conversation. I know you've been using AI tools a lot. That's super helpful, but sometimes I feel like we're skipping over deep thinking or personal input. Can we talk about balancing it out? That's exactly what you want her to do. AI is a tool, not a decision maker. Help them see AI lacks context, nuance, and emotional intelligence. And nuance would be for those of you who don't know, are little things that make things not black and white. Other little inputs, like the fact that you have several professionals saying this, and common sense tells you people are buying houses left and right and all around this house. Obviously, it's okay. It's great for drafting, brainstorming, summarizing, but you need to interpret and refine. Like, have professionals give you the real opinion, professionals who are on the ground. Suggest healthy boundaries. Obviously, she does not have that.
I've done all this.
Rely on humans for analysis.
Exact stuff. Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
Rely on humans for analysis, final decisions, interpersonal communication, and originality, or professionals who do real things. So, okay. So there you go. Just use AI to do it.
We'll try that again. Thank you.
All right. If that's what she believes in, send her that. Christina.
Hey, I had a quick question. So I am working a commercial deal for a client. Obviously I do more residential than commercial. So we're looking at a space. They asked us to submit a business plan and they want to send us an LOI, is how they want to handle things. So we want to negotiate with them a little bit on the terms that they're offering. I'm assuming, I should just send over the business plan, look at their LOI, and then, just send us.
Look at their
send them a
LOI
calendar, right?
and you look at their LOI, and if they say $35 a foot and you want to pay $30 a foot, then just scratch it through and say that's what we want to do.
Okay. Do I send over a new LOI?
You'll come to full terms on the LOI before they draw up the lease.
Right. So the counter would involve, can I just email them the terms? Okay.
Say instead of $35 a foot, we want to do $32 a foot, whatever it is. And instead of 1 month free rent, we want this much. Instead of $50 tenant improvement, we want $75, whatever it is.
Okay.
Vivian.
I gave everybody a save the date on my house at the end of the month. Dana at St. Lawrence reminded me that that's a holiday weekend. So we moved it up to Wednesday, the 27th. Okay.
Awesome. Let us know in the FRI page. Okay, everybody, we are doing please video testimonials. If you guys will do them, if you're interested, we are giving gift cards for the best ones, but we would love that. And that is for our brokerage video testimonials about how we have changed your life for the better, or you don't have to be that dramatic, but I'm sure some of you will, which I love. The best ones get gift cards. Daryl, we don't have yours yet. Just letting you know. So we're doing that. Also, I will not be here starting tomorrow morning through Monday. We do have Solange will be available to you guys, and I will be available by phone from time to time and email from time to time. I will be out of the country, but I will be responding when I can. So I look forward to any questions you guys might have. Let me know what you need. I'll be here the rest of the day, and I'll be leaving tomorrow morning. So Anything else you guys have? Any questions?
Ryan, I got an email from you and somebody else for the video, but it only had your email address. Is it sent to you then?
You did. I got yours.
Oh, okay. Good.
I got yours. I forwarded it to Milena. Yes, you'll get it from Milena. You'll be dealing with her a little bit on that. Milena is our chief of staff for all of our offices. She's handling that. And we are.
I'll do one. I don't think I got an email though.
You did not, but I'll send you an email for it. I'm only email me if you'll do it, and I'll send you the information. All right. Any other questions before we go? Awesome. Thank you, everybody. I will see you next week, and enjoy your week. Bye, everybody.